Hi, welcome to Arts at a Distance. My name is Miss Noel. I am the Arts Education Consultant with Merced County Office of Education. And today we're going to be working on our Fine Art Friday lesson, which is going to be architecture and paper sculpture based on a story that we all get to write together, kind of Mad Lib style. This is going to be really fun, and I'll tell you a little bit more about where this lesson originated a little bit later. But first and foremost, I need us to gather some materials, okay? First thing I want you to gather is your pen and paper, and that way we can start writing while you gather the rest of it, okay? Pen and paper first. After that, I need you to gather more than just the paper you're gonna write on, some paper to be able to work with creatively later. So what I've done is I've grabbed just a bunch of construction paper, right? Colored construction paper, and because I am an art teacher and a crafty person, I do just kind of happen to have this around. And so I have torn it into strips. I didn't even use any kind of scissors because tearing it is just fine, right? So I've got kind of strips and chunks of colored paper here. You also are gonna need some markers because eventually we're gonna have to work with patterns and things like that. I've grabbed many, many colors and I've got them all here. Actually, I'm going to remove that clothespin and open this up so that we can all see them together. Look how wonderful, right? So many colors. In addition to our markers, we need some kind of adhesive to be able to work with. I have grabbed tape as well as glue. Now, I'm generally speaking gonna be using the tape because obviously it's a faster adhesive than to sit there and wait for glue. However, depending on the look that you might be going for, you may absolutely want to use the glue instead. And since you can take as long as you want, that's absolutely fine. You also need a base of some kind. Now, I've seen this done with index cards. I've seen it done with just regular pieces of paper. Anything will work as a base. I chose this piece of styrofoam. We got a delivery recently, and this came out of the box. And so I am going to use that as my base to build on. You can choose anything you want. And then, like I said, last but not least, we're looking for a pen and paper to be able to do our Mad Libs, okay? Colored paper or paper to be able to work with and use, markers, tape or glue, a base, and then your pen and paper, okay? And go find it. Now, while you're going to find it, you're also going to be keeping one ear out and answering the following questions so that we can complete our Mad Lib and our story, okay? First things first, I want you to name a building for me. Any building. Could be a school, could be a post office, could be a skyscraper, could be a house or an apartment building, anything you want. I'm going to write down a bank. My building is a bank. After that, I need you to pick a color. Now, the colors maybe that you are wearing are good choices. Also, the colors of the paper that's in front of you or that you've been able to choose, if they are different colors, might give you some incentive toward that. I'm gonna write yellow because I happened to pick up a yellow piece of paper. After that, you're gonna name a pattern for me. Now, a pattern is any shape or piece of visual texture, right, that can be repeated. So it doesn't just have to be stripes. It can be kind of like a plaid pattern. It can be triangles. It can be polka dots. It can be bubbles or circles. It can be arrows. It can be plaids and ladder strips. Anything like that will work, and it's entirely up to you. As long as you can create it and repeat it, you can use it. I'm writing down polka dots because I'm not good at creating patterns, and that's what I want to do. After that, we're going to name a plant. Any plant. So normally I would go with a flower. I would go with a sunflower or a lilac or a lily, but honestly, I'm feeling a little nutso today. I'm going to write apple trees. Apple trees would work. Any, honestly, kind of tree or bush or succulent, anything that grows out of the ground is a good thing to put there. After this, we're looking for two adjectives. Now, adjectives, as we probably know, are not ways to describe an action. They are ways to describe a noun, right? A person, place, or thing. So my first adjective is wild. And my second adjective is breezy. We'll see how these work later on. Wild and breezy are my two adjectives. Now we're gonna write the same building again. So if you wrote skyscraper before, make sure you put skyscraper again, which means one more time, I'm gonna write the word bank. And then lastly, we have a shape to choose. Now, obviously there are many shapes to choose from. You could start with a square or a rectangle. A triangle is, 3 points is obviously the strongest shape that you can choose. We can go with columns or arches. I'm gonna say circle. I think it's a simple, easy way to start, okay? So now we get to input these words into our story, and that's gonna tell us a little bit about the art we're gonna create, okay? Once there was a remarkable old bank. It was a lovely shade of yellow and had some polka dots on it. It stood next to a particular type of apple tree, which grew wild and breezy. The bank is shaped like a circle. Wow, that's a weird bank. We have a yellow bank that has polka dots on it, standing next to, and it's a circle, standing next to wild, breezy apple trees. All right, let's see what we can do. First and foremost, I'm gonna take my yellow, and I know that I'm going to have to create both a pattern on it, which will be polka dots, as well as make it into a circle. So I'm gonna take one of my colors. I'm going with pink right now, and we'll set that to the side. And I'm gonna create some easy breezy polka dots. Oh, breezy, I used the word breezy again. How fun, maybe that's why it's already in my brain. We've got some polka dots down there. Now I'm gonna use my tape. I did not pick any kind of super special tape. It is literally duct tape because that is what I had around, and whatever you have around is good enough. And then I am going to set my bank right here on my base. I'm gonna use a little bit more tape, 1, 2, to be able to tape it right here from the inside so that hopefully you don't see very much of it. I'm gonna place my bank right there. Good. Awesome, kind of like that. See that? So that's a bank. How should I show that it's a bank? I'm gonna show that it's a bank by adding a big sign, and that sign is going to say bank and a dollar sign, money bank, and it's pink just like the polka dots are, right? Super duper fun. I'm gonna add a piece of tape to the back of this and have it stay right there on top like a great big bank sign. Good. Now we all know what that is. So now I need to start making some wild, breezy apple trees. When I think of trees, obviously I think of things that are green. So I'm gonna take this and I am gonna start making some strips. These strips are going to be the branches and leaves of my apple trees. I'm obviously, as you can tell, not focusing in on making them super even. In fact, I kind of like the idea that the edges are a little bit jagged, right? So we are going to place that there. I'm gonna take this, well, not yellow, let's go with another color. I'm gonna take this orange, ooh, and I'm actually gonna roll it into a little bit of like a standing column, right? Because I'm thinking about how it's gonna look on the base. So I'm gonna roll it. I'm gonna take my piece of tape right here and just tape it to the other side, bloop, so that it's kind of a closed circle, if you will. I'm gonna take one more piece of tape on the bottom and tape it down to the base. What I'm doing as I tape it is I am taking my piece of tape and putting it half onto what I want to stay, and the other half is hanging free, so that then I can lay that free hanging tape against the base, and it will stand like that. If I don't feel like it's particularly sturdy, like I don't with this one, I'll add another one. We are going very fast in the lesson, but truth be told, you could spend a very long time on architecture like this. A very, very long time. There we go. And now, I'm gonna take some of these apple tree leaves and I am going to kind of stick them in the top. Now, this is not a technique that I have been thinking a lot about. I'm just looking at what I have and creatively trying to come up with a way to implement the words wild and breezy. Now, if your words are different, if you happened to pick words like solid or dependable or old or even stuff like boring, well, this very Dr. Seussian looking apple tree may not be the correct use of your particular talents at that point in time. I'm going to, oh no! All of my things fell out. What an excellent example of what can happen while you are editing your pieces. Now, they fell out because I did not give them any kind of adhesive in the center. So what I'm doing is I'm pushing them a little bit further down now. That's gonna make it a little bit harder for them to fall out. I'm gonna push them way down toward the center of my little tube. That's gonna make that a little bit more sturdy. Perfect. Ooh, I really like how these leaves are coming out of this wild and breezy apple tree. You can tell it's breezy because it moves in the breeze. I like that. And just to make sure that they stay, I'm gonna take one more little piece of tape and wrap it around the back here. Now is when I feel like it's really fun to start creating extra pieces, right? There is something very standard about the idea of a building, a bank, and a tree. Now I know that building is yellow with pink polka dots and is circular, and I know that tree is significantly taller than that bank, but that still doesn't mean that we can't go full-blown Dr. Seuss. So I want to practice some stuff like a set of stairs leading up from the ground to the tree, because nowhere in this story does it say that I can't have that. And then I might even practice a little tree house. So the way that I'm going to practice stairs is by folding and folding back and forth accordion style this strip of paper so that when it is unfolded, just like that, I have a mini set of stairs. I'm going to tape one side down to the base, and I'm going to tape the other side way up here to the top of the tree. Not top, but middle of the tree. Oh my goodness, that is fun right there. I like that. If I had more time, I would be gluing this a little bit more solidly to the base. Now, just one last little piece. I'm going to invent the concept of a tree house a little bit simply by taking one of my green strips that I had originally ripped for the top of the tree, the branches and the leaves, and I'm going to, from the edge, kind of curl it a little bit, okay? Just give it a little bit of a curl, boom, like that. And then some tape right here. Should have curled it the other way. Whoop. Now, because I don't like the way it was curled, instead of letting it curl naturally and bear its own weight, or trying to make it bear its own weight, I'm simply going to take this edge and I'm going to tape it on this side to this tree. And then what we've got here is a tree with the concept of a tree house that you can actually go up to with a little stairs, and then your bank, right? Again, please go to mcoe.org and find our distance learning portal. Find the Visual and Performing Arts content link, and please go check out Miss Lisa at the Merced County Arts Council, and her particular version of this lesson, it's longer, it's more interactive, and there's a lot more that can be done here. Thank you for joining me on Fine Art Friday at Arts at a Distance with Miss Noel. Please, everybody, there's only 3 things I ask you to do. Are you ready? Stay safe, stay happy, and make art. Bye.